We've been cleaning up the Great Lakes for more than half a century now, and the improvements have been significant. But the possibility of federal funding cuts to U.S. environmental programs has some worried about continued progress.
The Great Lakes are the largest system of fresh surface water in the world and a source of drinking water for about 40 million people. But industrial pollution, agricultural runoff, and invasive species have caused big problems. The Great Lakes Restoration Initiative, or GLERI, is one response to those problems, and it's had strong bipartisan support from the beginning.
My name is Juan Pablo Ramirez Franco.
My name is Izzy Ross. I am a climate solutions reporter at Interlochen Public Radio and with GRIST.
Izzy Ross and Juan Pablo Ramirez Franco report on climate for Interlochen Public Radio, WBEZ Chicago, and GRIST. They recently teamed up to cover concerns about the GLERI's future.
Oftentimes when you're reporting on legislation, there are people who are very against it and people who are very for it. And with this, it was a lot of people concerned about what could happen with federal funding for it, but not many people who were adamantly opposed to it.
President George W. Bush laid the foundations when he signed Executive Order 13340.
President Bush signed an executive order that told states, tribes, and federal agencies to come together to collaborate on ways to figure out how they could coordinate cleanup efforts across the region.
The executive order established the Great Lakes Interagency Task Force, which drew up a multi-billion-dollar plan for restoring the Great Lakes.
Fast forward to President Barack Obama in 2010, GLERI, the Great Lakes Restoration Initiative, passes, and that's what we've had for about 15 years at this point.
GLERI has helped to fund thousands of projects, fighting invasive species, improving water quality, and cleaning up toxic substances throughout the Great Lakes.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear.
I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear.
But during his first term in office, President Trump proposed budgets 3 years in a row that drastically reduced funding for the GLERI or eliminated it altogether. Each time, Congress rejected those cuts.
When President Trump tried to cut funding from the Great Lakes Restoration Initiative in his first term in office, we did see an outcry from Great Lakes lawmakers who did not want to see that funding get cut.
Then in 2019, Trump reversed course at a campaign rally in Grand Rapids, Michigan.
I support the Great Lakes. Always have. They're beautiful. They're big, very deep, record deepness, right? And I'm going to get, in honor of my friends, full funding of $300 million for the Great Lakes Restoration Initiative.
Congressman Bill Huizenga was one of several Michigan Republicans who pushed Trump to support the GLERI before the rally. He made an economic case for the initiative, as he had before Congress a few months earlier.
The Great Lakes Restoration Initiative has a strong track record of success, specifically in West Michigan, where the work to clean up toxic hotspots in areas like Muskegon is estimated to have increased property values by nearly $12 million and generated $1 million in new recreational spending.
In terms of return on investment of what comes from this actual spending, one economic analysis found that for every dollar invested in the program, the region sees about $3 return in economic benefits.
Vice President J.D. Vance has also supported the GLERI. In fact, as an Ohio senator, he was part of a bipartisan coalition pushing to increase funding for it, and he spoke in favor of the GLERI during the 2024 campaign. In a May 2024 press release from his Senate office, he said, "The Great Lakes Restoration Initiative delivers the tools we need to fight invasive species, algal blooms, pollution, and other threats to the ecosystem. This is a common-sense, bipartisan effort that I encourage all of my colleagues to support."
He was quite vocal about it on the campaign trail. When he came to Traverse City, he talked about President Trump's support of environmental initiatives, including support for the Great Lakes and environmental programs here.
President Trump signed the Great American Outdoors Act to rebuild our national parks, spent $900 million rebuilding our national parks. And he signed another piece of legislation that put $175 million into Great Lakes restoration, which of course benefits all of us.
But in the opening weeks of his second term, Trump has moved to cut environmental spending and the EPA, which oversees the Great Lakes Restoration Initiative. Could the GLERI be in Trump's crosshairs too? As Izzy and Juan Pablo's reporting points out, some are hoping that Vice President Vance will convince Trump to leave the initiative intact, but that's far from certain.
During the campaign, he did throw a lot of doubt on whether climate change was human-caused, and he's followed Trump's messaging on fossil fuels. We don't know exactly where Vice President Vance stands today. It's anybody's guess.
And the initiative's history of bipartisan support is no guarantee the initiative's funding won't be cut or eliminated.
The House bill to reauthorize this funding and increase it to $500 million a year was introduced in January. The Senate bill for that was introduced in February. Now we are waiting on Congress to act.
At Great Lakes Now, we aim to cover the Great Lakes region and the people who live here, like you. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out our channel for more videos, and if you'd like to support our work, consider making a donation at greatlakesnow.org. See you out on the lakes.